Hi all, good evening. This is Saif here. In this video, I would be demonstrating SCD implementation. SCD stands for Slowly Changing Dimension, and we would see SCD Type 2. SCD Type 2 means it maintains the historical records plus current record. There are various methods to implement SCD Type 2: date method, flag method, version method. In this video, I would be demonstrating with the version method. Let's see, this is small requirement given. We need to maintain the historical data and current data. If any of the column data gets changed and some data transformation rules has been given, we need to concatenate the name, format the phone number, and total salary calculation. So these are a couple of requirements given by the client with which we identified we need to implement type 2. Let's see a theoretical explanation. This is my source table. This is my target table. This is the data which is coming from my source 101, Arif, Sheikh, mobile number, and the department number. Now there is no data in my target table. But if you look at my target table structure, there is an extra column which says SK, surrogate key, which stands for surrogate key. In this column, there will be an incremented value which would act as a primary key. And also there is one extra column which says status. In this, if my row is getting inserted, it will reflect insert. If my row is getting updated, it will reflect update. In version, it would be incrementing. Let's see the data. So this is start from 1. This would be 101. Name would be concatenated. Phone number would get formatted. Department number is 20. This is the first version, and it would be insert. Now let's say after few days my name got changed from Arif to Saif and my department number got changed as well. Now if this is the data which is coming from my source and this is the data which is available in my target, I need to check whether this is available or not. What I would do is I would do a lookup on my target table, evaluate a condition. If this record is available, I will pass this column as a not null. If this record is not available, then I would pass this column as null. So if is null, I would insert. If not is null, I would update. Now, as this is a type 2 mechanism wherein we need to maintain the historical record, we identified this record is available. Hence, we will not eradicate the history. We would preserve the history. With some mechanism, I would say this is update. And I would increment the surrogate key, the new record which is coming, concatenate the name, the transformation of phone number, the department number, the version would get incremented to 2, and the new record would say as insert. With this is the current record, and with this, my historical record. This is a theoretical explanation. I have drawn a small diagram. So I would be reading the data from source to source qualifier. In this expression transformation, I would be transforming the data. In this lookup transformation, I will do a lookup on my target table and bring the data to its cache. Compare on my conditional columns. If that record is available, not is null. If that record is not available, is null. I'll pass the data ahead to my expression transformation wherein I'll write conditional statements, is null, insert, not is null, update, and incremented of version numbers and so on. Then the data would be passed to my router transformation where I'll create two groups for is null and not is null. Is null would go as a straight insert with a surrogate key, and from update I will use my update strategy transformation. I will update my historical records. Once the data is made historical, I will insert again. So I will use one more update strategy which will say dd insert and update the insert the data. So insert, update, and upsert. So this is a pictorial diagram of type 2. Let's try to implement this practically. I've already imported my source structures. and my target structures just to save a small bit of time. Let's go to my mapping designer, drag the source. It will ask you for a mapping name. This is my SCD2 mapping with the version method. Let's bring in my target table. Source and target are in place. Now client has given me a certain requirement wherein I need to concatenate the name, form the email ID, transform the phone number, calculate total salary. What I've done is I've already made a reusable transformation and I've already coded everything inside this. If you'll see over here, concatenation of first name, email ID, formation of phone number and total salary. Let's link these two transformation, auto link by name, just drag and drop. This saves a bit of timing. Now what I'll do is I'll do a lookup on my target table. Transformation, create lookup, and if the table is even imported in target designer, you'll find it over here, SCD to TGT version. Let's bring in the customer ID, and this customer ID would be used for evaluation purpose. So for better identification, I'm prefixing it with source. Let's give a condition, customer ID to customer ID. Let's go to the properties, lookup policy on multiple match. On that condition, I always want to pick the last value. Now client has asked if my name gets changed and if my job gets changed, I need to maintain my history and current data. So the rest columns needs to be deleted because they are of no use to us. Unnecessary data would be lied in the cache. So I've kept only my required columns. This would be for conditional statements, this would for incrementing the version, and these two for my column comparison, and surrogate key for is null and not is null passing to my expression transformation. Let's bring in the expression transformation and let's write conditional statements over here. Let's bring the transform data, that is customer ID, name, email ID, phone number, and the remaining columns. And let's bring some few columns from lookup. Cool. Now for better identification, I'm prefixing source to my source columns so that I can clearly identify which columns are coming from where, so that while picking up some columns while writing some conditional logics, I should not be in a dilemma. This port belongs to where. Now these are my lookup columns and lookup is pointing to my target. Let's prefix this with target. My first job is done. Now if you'll see in my target, there is an extra column which says status. In this column I will reflect insert or update. Let's say this is insert status, data type of n string, and I would say this is insert. Let's say this is update status, n string, and I would say this as update. Now insert and update has been done. Let's increment the version and define a version. Let's create two columns again, o_new version. Whenever the new version would be assigned, I would say it would start from 1. And whenever there would be an incremented version, I would say the column will be, so this version will get stored in this column version and this version will come over here. So that would be version plus target TGT version plus 1. So let's do that so that my version would get incremented. Now version has been implemented, insert. Let's write conditional statements over here. First would be a variable code for my insert flag, and let's write if is null if is null of my primary key, my primary key is my surrogate key, flag the records for y, else flag the records for n. Validate this, copy this port and paste this port, make it as an output port, and assign the port which contains the small condition. Let's do the same thing for my update flag. Here, in spite of is null, I will write not is null. Let's write a small AND clause. If my column gets changed, so client has asked if my name is getting changed, so source name will be compared with my target name, and job is not equals to the target job. If the record is available and if there is any change in these two columns from my source to target, I need to flag it for y, else n. So I've done that. Let's copy this port and paste this port, and let's mark this as an output port and paste this. So everything is done. And one more thing, these columns are only here for evaluation purpose, so I'm not taking this column ahead. Let's move ahead. Let's go to my router transformation. In router, I will split the data in two groups, that is insert and update. Bring in all these columns and the remaining columns. Let's create two groups, that is insert and update. This is for insert, this is for update. Whatever conditional statements we have written, let's call that over here, and same thing for update flag. After this, let's link the ports appropriately. So customer ID, name, bill commission, I have the approximately same columns, department number is going over here, total salary, version, for the first time there will be new version, that would be 1, and the status would be insert. I need to have a surrogate key. Let's use a transformation called sequence generator. Let's create a surrogate key. Let's bring this over here, double click on this copy, and let's rename this as insert, so that while setting up session properties, I would be in clear picture what properties needs to be set. So select on this, Control C, Control V. Now I need to make my data historical. So to make the data historical or to update the data, I need a transformation called update strategy. Okay, so here I will make my historical records. Now to make the historical records, I need to identify the record through a primary key. I don't need to touch the data because I need to preserve the history, and the status needs to be updated. So let's go as a status and updated, and here I'll write dd underscore update. Let's change the instance name. This would be called as update. Now let's copy this instance again and paste this instance, and from this flow I need to insert the data as well, because once the data is being made historical, I need to insert the data. So when the data is getting inserted, when the new record is getting inserted, the primary key needs to get incremented. From the update flow, I would be inserting the data. I'll use an update strategy, and here I will say insert. All the fresh data which is coming from my source would be brought over here. I would take like this. These two columns are in just vice versa. Let's take that, and let's link this fresh data to my ports. Here I will have an incremented version and my status would be insert. Double click on this update strategy and let's write dd insert. Let's rename this copy to upsert, or you can write as insert as well. That's your type 2 implementation. Let's walk through this again. Right click, arrange all iconic. This is the mapping in the iconic view. Let's arrange all and let's go step by step. This is my source. The data is pushed to source qualifier. The data is being selected. In this expression transformation, the data is being transformed as per the requirement. In this expression transformation, we are writing some conditional statements. Lookup is pointed to target table and the data is being brought to cache. In router transformation, I'm creating two groups, that is insert and update. Let's take this surrogate key ahead, a sequence generator up, and all these remaining two as well. Let's move this up. Cool. So let's move this up a little bit as well so that we can take the appropriate one. Okay, so from this insert flow, we are generating a new sequence number and this is the records which are getting inserted. So these are my fresh record which are getting first time insert. Then if the same record is coming, we are making the records historical. So this is the historical flow. Okay, and once the data is being made history, I need to insert the data again. So this is the upsert stuff. And for the upsert stuff, we are bringing the new surrogate key from up. Let's save this. Let's copy the mapping name. Let's go to the workflow. Create a new workflow with the naming standards. Create a task, that is a session. Again, the naming standards. Associate your mapping. Link your mapping. Go to the mapping tab. Source is coming from the staging schema. And target, from here it tells you, so this is my star schema, it tells you correctly which property needs to be inserted. So in this copy we are inserting the data, no update, no delete, and there will be no truncate as this is a dimension load. Update, in this flow there will be only update happening, so no insert, no delete. Upsert, in this copy only insert would be happening, so no update, no delete. And lookup, we are pointing to a target table, so that is the star schema. Everything is set perfectly. Now this is the record which is coming from my source. There is no data in my target table. Let's execute this workflow. Workflow has been triggered. It is running and successfully executed. If you see, one record has been read and one record has been inserted. Let's go and check the data. So surrogate key has been incremented, safe shake, email ID has been formed, phone number has been formatted, total salary has been calculated, version has been inserted as first, and insert. Let's try to update this thing. Let's say here this is, let's take the name to Imran and he's a tester as well for my 101. Let's execute this query, hit a commit clause. Now we are receiving an updated data. When I run this workflow, it should update the history and insert a new record. This has been successfully completed. If you see, the historical record has been maintained and the new record has been inserted. Let's go to the target table and execute the query. So if you see, surrogate key has been incremented to 2 This is updated and version is still 1. This is the new record. Name has changed, email ID has changed, job has changed. This says mark as insert and the version has been incremented. So my insert is happening, my update is happening. Let's insert new record. So insert into table name, and these are some values. Let's hit this insert statement. Not enough values, we are missing something. So customer ID, first name, last name, organization name. Oh, we are missing job. Let's give job as trainer. And let's execute this insert statement. What is happening? Trainer, it's invalid number. We are writing some incorrect insert statement. Let me cross verify again. So insert into table 101, first name, last name, organization name. So here it should have been phone number, then it should have been trainer, then the manager, the hire date, salary. So it should look, this should run fine. So we are inserting one new record, and also what we will do is we will update this to, let's say new name is Lee, and he is the manager. 101, let's update this. One row inserted, one row updated. Let's hit a commit clause. Now from my source there are two records coming. One is a new record, one is existing record. So for this there will be two transactions, means update and upsert, and for this it would be insert. Let's execute your workflow again. Workflow is getting executed. So if you'll see, update and upsert for the existing record and insert for the new record. Let's verify the data. Let's go to the target table. Now 101, so this is the Arif Sheikh, which is my new existing record. So if you'll see the man trainer, and if you'll see, we have some issue. So yes, that is fine. So if you'll see over here, earlier we had Saif Sheikh, which has been overridden by Imran. Now 101 has been overtaken by Aleem Sheikh. So if you'll see, email ID has been formed, the manager, the total salary, and this is showing insert. So for 101, it is the third record. It means it is incrementing. That is working fine. And 102 is the new record. So that is Arif Khan, who is a trainer, and it is insert. And the sequence or the version is starting from 1. So if you'll say order by surrogate key, so if you'll see order by SK, should have said order by customer ID. So if you'll see, these are my two historical records, and for that I have 101. Oh, there is some small issue over here. This should have been update. No, this is insert. That is fine. Yeah, updated. Yeah, that is fine. So, and let's go with version as well. So the query needs to be run properly. Okay, now it is perfectly fine. These are my historical records. Now this was the existing record which got updated with the new surrogate key and showing as insert. And this was my fresh record which got inserted and with a new version. So this mapping is working as per the expectations, that is SCD2, which is insert and update. That's what we needed to achieve in this scenario, in this SCD type 2, and that's what we have done. So please see this video and implement your type 2 using the source structures and target structures, understand the mapping, logic written. And if you like this video, do share with your friends if they have done the Informatica course and would like to enhance their knowledge. And also, please implement it and practice with a hands-on. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, give a like and do share. Thank you and take care.